Good evening and hello everybody. My name is LRock617. Glad you all could join us today. To close out our TMNT trio, here I'll be playing a somewhat of a cousin to the more famous Turtles in Time. This is TMNT the Hyperstone Heist, released for the Sega Genesis back in 1992. Very similar mechanics to that same game. But we'll get to those as the run goes on, because we got a heck of a track ahead of us. We're going to be playing on the hard difficulty. It's really the only difficulty I play on this game. The only other major change I'm making in my control scheme is I'm turning back attack off. It's really not that good here. I'm going to do a quick thing where I test my timer. Okay, we're good there. Okay. Go ahead and get her started. Much as in the previous game, we're going to go ahead and pick Raph. Easily the highest damage character in the game, which is why we're using him. He gets to just mow through enemies. So start off here in the sewers. You'll notice Raph's going to be doing a lot of running because he starts this game needing to do cardio. And he does it all the time. While he's dashing, you have the shoulder tackle, which can be done from either a cartwheel or standardly for a lot of damage. The flip tackle one, as it's referred to, does way more damage. That was an unfortunate placement. Let's do this. Guy got away from me. Go ahead and take this out here. Wait here in just a moment. Other key portions of the moveset, we've got the slide. Slide is pretty invincible the entire time. You're going to be seeing me using that a lot to try to just get around enemies. Especially against bosses. I disagree, video game. Okay, got a little away from that. Very unfortunate thing about this game, it's really hectic and a lot of stuff happens like all the time, so it can be really hard for me to describe what's going on. Do the best I can though. So anyway, the flip tackle, as I'd refer to it, does a whopping 20 damage, which kills foot soldiers in one hit. They only have 17 hit points, so you can just mow right through them. Pretty great. Moving on to our second room. We don't have a boss just yet. So I'm utilizing a lot of slides and what's called dash vessels. That flying kick that I'm using there, that was not what I wanted. To go through groups of enemies. Very useful because if you have to hit two enemies at once, it does the job perfectly for that. I try not to make too much use of it though, simply because it causes knockdown and it doesn't kill, like the flip tackle does. Oh, that was almost really bad. That was ugly. Got a quick despawn setup I'm going to do here. Get these guys away. Get away from the yellow guy. We'll never see him again. Playing on hard today, G Mario. Cool thing I wanted to show off for today, I had never played this version before. This is actually a ROM hack of the game that doesn't change the gameplay at all, but it changes the color palette. It actually cleans it up to make it look more arcade style. It's called the Pyron color palette. As mentioned before, though, the gameplay is exactly the same, so I am still playing the Hyperstone Heist. Okay, that guy. You say there are lots more shoulder tackles just to finish things off. By the way, you'll see me do, since the shoulder tackle is so efficient, despite not doing much damage, is you'll see me do combos of shoulder tackle into itself. Does 10 damage at a time, so doing two right after the other does finish off foot soldiers when you get rid of this guy. Generally when they spawn up in groups like that, that's when I tend to bring out the slide. Like so. Oof, that guy actually almost got me. That was scary. Oh, gross. So I got a little bit of time to talk now. I have a quick section where enemies are just going to spawn and I don't really have to even deal with them. These pizza monsters really aren't any threat. They only go linear, so I just have to stay the other way. It's really not worth it to fight them either unless you want the points, and it's just really not that necessary. Also, I love this song. This is actually one of the few original songs in this game, and it sounds really, really cool. I think it's going to start right about here. There we go. Couple more waves of soldiers. That's not what I wanted. But soldiers are slippery in this game. There's not a lot of RNG to them, but they can wall their way around you and cause inconvenience. So Leatherhead's our first boss. We have a pretty specific sequence I'm going to go for here. That's not the way I wanted to start that at all. Missed my dash input. First some health down. Get this good progressive health. Trying to save some frames there with that. Decent fight. I wanted to get in more flip tackles than what I got, but just because they do more damage. I still thought it turned out okay. So this quick auto scroller. I love the background change here, the yellow sky and everything. I think it looks really neat. Let's see if I can go to some more details here. All the foot soldiers here are one hit, but I'm just going to do my best to not interact with them. There's no reason to. Unless you just want points. I see it as a waste of frames. I'm just going to jump over them and just not even bother. So, bit of a difference here from Turtles in Time. The majority of stages in Turtles in Time have a full-length stage that ends with a boss. In this game, you'll get as many as, with one major exception, 2 to 3 rooms per stage, but only one of them ends in a boss. The exception being stage 4, which is just a big boss rush all by itself. Flying Mousers, because whoever said that was a good idea, clearly needs to be hit in the head. Just don't want any part of that. Okay, that's fine. This is such a good version of this song. Has a lot more bass than the SNES version. Didn't want to get hit there, though. That was unfortunate. Move on to our second part of Stage 2. Here we have the mysterious ghost ship. Actually, I'm really surprised it worked out as well for me as it did. To get around that guy a little bit. He was a little bit quirky. Come here, you. These yellow guys can be really annoying. Their primary attack involves them jumping, which means they can dodge anything I would hit them with on the ground. I don't want that. That's unfortunate the guy didn't spawn. Gotta do some makeshift stuff here. This is before, you're not going to see me stop often, so if you see me stopping my tracks, that means I probably missed an input, like what you saw there. Only real goal here is to avoid the floorboards. It's going to flip up on me and cause some serious damage. Like so. Did not do that on purpose, but you're welcome, either way. I thought I turned up back. Oh well. Here we are, right? That guy. Okay. Flip into this section. Generally, if yellow soldiers stop, that means they're going to do their little jump attack where they throw kunai at you. If I end up seeing that, what I try to do is realign myself. Try to get them to walk towards me. That way I can just hit them instead of them having to be able to jump. Pretty useful. This here. There's something I wanted to talk about in terms of the controls, but I've got these enemies I gotta deal with first. These are Stone Warriors. First time we see them in the game, but we'll see them a few more times. Shoulder tackle combos tend to have their way with these guys. Like so. Not too terrible. So here's the thing about the control scheme. The other big difference here with this game compared to any Turtles game I've ever played is that dashing has a button assigned to it, as opposed to just being like a double tap, like it is in other games. Actually pretty lucky I got hit there. I was going to try and jump and get away, but the guy anti-aired me and he ended up meeting his doom regardless, so not too terrible. Another quick Stone Warrior section. For this we're going to do special to knock them to one side. Like you saw there. We do that because it allows us to be able to do the dash attack back and forth, because we can't actually be stopped by them per se. Once we've hit them, we just go through them. Pretty useful when you're trying to get high damage hits like that. No. Okay. Thank you, video game. I was trying to slide there, but the difference between slide and dash special can be frames in execution, as it turns out. this because I need it. Another quick section of this. We're going to do that. I think we got one more here. There we go. Ah, I missed a little bit. It's fine though. You want to try and get them both at the same time, but sometimes stuff doesn't work out. Okay. Moving on from that, here we have one of my least favorite bosses in this game. Rocksteady historically has been a fairly easy TMNT boss. In this game, he's a real pain. He has broken hitboxes on his melee, and he also has, he can do that. Like, that was a pure combo. I couldn't avoid that if that's something he wanted to do. He has tons of invincibility, especially while he's charging. Like, this is even more of a pain than I'm used to him being. This is pretty bad. First time I've taken a death on stage 2 in a long time. He really doesn't want me doing anything right now. Pretty awful. Alright, I'm going to take a moment to try to get through the rest of this. He is being miserable. Yeah. Definitely not my best, but he's pretty bad. So the problem with the kick is that kick he throws out can hit on both sides. So if you do flip tackle and land on the other side of him, not only can that hit you, but it also has a high vertical hitbox. So if you're like even out of plane, it can still just hit him. Didn't want to misalign that. The Rodneys here in this section specifically are annoying because they have such a large amount of space to work with. That'll work, I think. Oh wait, wrong way. Okay. So here we have our first all-original stage. Original music. Not necessarily original enemies, but the scenery definitely looks unique. We have a quick minion soldier here. These guys die in one hit. I don't know why. I also just love the idea of a fire-breathing foot soldier. I think it's just amazingly ridiculous. Alright, so we gotta flip over here. That is not good. Went a little too low there. Shouldn't be that big of a deal though. We'll just get some hits in. This last segment I'm hoping goes well because when it does, it looks beautiful. Gotta get rid of these mousers first though, and there's another group. Get them here. Yeah, wrong way. Also try not to fall down that hole. Cool, got a triple kill, that's what I wanted. Not too bad. Now, this will be a little bit reminiscent of the Ninja Castle you all just saw on TMNT 2 for the NES. Some similar structure, I guess you could say. It is, however, also one of the most dangerous stages in this game. Quick tidbit here, don't jump. Those spikes will hit you, and it does hurt. That was freaking rude. Thank you, video game. Clearly you know best. So, one reason why it's one of the most dangerous. These bamboo shoots. They are a problem. This is where slide becomes a really big deal. It's just not worth dealing with foot soldiers that have invincibility because they can stand over that stuff and you can't. So we use slide a lot there to mitigate that. Slide it that way. Turn this, turn right back around. Got these dudes coming, and they get out of my way. Went in a little too late there, I think. These guys. Take out those guys there. Didn't really want to hit that. That stalled my momentum. Candles can be useful, but they can also do stuff like that sometimes. Just quick slice, take out these mousers. Really? Okay, so reason number 2 why this is one of the most dangerous stages in the game, these laser traps. This is one of the segments that really gets determined by the difficulty of this game. On hard difficulty, these things spawn and unspawn so fast. On lower difficulties, not as much. It's not quite as insane and ridiculous. But it actually worked out okay there. Only got hit once. Used to getting hit multiple times just because things get so chaotic. Alright, that'll move us on out of that super insane room into boss time. Here we have Tatsu. Those who don't remember, he was Shredder's henchman in the very first TMNT movie, and I believe he made an appearance in the sequel. This is his only appearance in a console video game. He's also a ridiculously easy boss. All I had to do is just dash special from one side to the other. We get to finish him off. So now we found Shredder's hideout. Now we get to go see if he's actually there. So now we're going to run the gauntlet. This to me is actually the hardest stage in the game. The pizza monsters aren't a problem. The new colorization is intriguing for sure. But we're still just going to make mad dashes. We don't even have to interact with these things. Not a deal at all. Too much more to talk about through this particular room because it's just lots of sliding. I'm using slides to gain some buffered momentum from one segment to the next. Keep scrolling. Alright, so here are our refights. Here we have Leatherhead, slightly recolored for this this ROM hack. Ordinarily he's purple here, but the dark green look is intriguing. At least I like it. Scroll that side. Other than that, it's pretty much the same fight. I did not want to get hit there. There we go. Okay. On to Rocksteady. Don't know if he's going to behave as horribly as he did for the first fight, but I also had an execution drop there, missed my dash input. Yeah, sometimes you get hit a lot. Generally, if he goes for the grenades, I just go for dash specials. They do the most consistent damage up close, and I can spam it. He just doesn't go for that often, but I'll always take advantage of it if he does. Fits there. Okay. Rough fight, but I didn't take a death, so I'm not super unhappy about that. We get our refight with Tatsu. Nothing at all changes here, except the color of his outfit. It's unfortunate. Sometimes you get grabbed. Obviously, you want to make sure that doesn't happen, but foot soldiers are slippery. Getting grabbed does waste time. Alright, on to our actual boss here. Somehow between the second game and this one, Baxter is now a human again. I actually don't know which point of Turtles lore this even takes place. It's probably their own custom. So there's two different strats that I can utilize for Baxter. He's completely airborne the entire time, so hitting with ground attacks isn't an option. With one exception. Since I don't have much health, I don't have an option but to go for the hop kick strat that I'm doing here. If I end up taking a death, which I'm not going to intentionally do, I want to see if I can just maintain hits as long as possible. Because I can still actually save a lot of time even in itself. The big danger here is the mousers. They jump at me and catch me out of the air, then I'm going to die. It's as simple as that, so I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, actually a pretty decent fight and no death. If he ended up killing me, what I could have done was switch to doing ground specials, you know, Raph's spin kick. Because that actually does hit airborne. And it does a lot of damage. Much more than the hop kicks, but it also carries an inherent risk because those things do damage to yourself. But we didn't have that happen. So on to our last stage. Here we have supposed to be the Technodrome, but it's essentially, for those who play Turtles in Time, it's straight up Starbase, just with a different skin. Right down to the music. Essentially in this stage, Shredder just throws everything he has at us. Just all of the enemy groups, all of the nonsense. terrible enemy groups at that. Like those that are like that work really well together. Oh, we have the robot walkers. Those guys are new. I forgot about them. Supposed to be a setup there. I was supposed to be able to go and slide and take the minions, 4 of them out at once, but that didn't work out. Not too mad, but could have been a little bit better. Gonna keep hitting these doodads, these mousers here. Stone Warrior section here. I'm gonna do a spin. Do this. Cool, I was in the right place. Figured I was. Try for the slide again. Got 3 that time. 3 is normal, but I have gotten as many as 4. Get these guys all up. That side. Interesting thing here is when the mousers spawn from the background, you really can't lose time by not being able to kill them quickly. You don't want to wait too long, but it doesn't waste too much time if you miss like a second or 2 on it, because they'll just spawn at that interval. And there's no time to lose. Flip tackles for these guys. They want to try to be cute and teleport. I have a lot of space to work with here, so you're going to see a lot of flip tackles. There we go. That was weird. But okay. This guy. Weird, you really want to kill that first guy on the way in, simply because if you don't, the guy from the teleporter doesn't spawn right away. He actually takes his time. Okay, missed my dash input, that's cool. Sometimes that happens. Execution in this game is a little all over the place at times. So this section's also really hard. You have these ice rays that we really don't want to have to deal with. They're not invincible, as you can see there by the fact that I was able to destroy one, but they are fast enough to generally be able to hit you first, and sometimes they can just last past your iframes. Like while I'm slamming a foot soldier, I'm purely invincible the whole time, but they can wait out the duration of that. Pretty gross. Take out these guys. We're gonna try and line up here. Don't want to get hit by those. One would most certainly kill me. More flip tackles. Good. Just a hit there. That's unfortunate. Just lit a little bit later. I mistimed that. Still have a fair number of lives, and we're in the final stretch, so shouldn't be too much of a worry. Another quick Stone Warrior section. Spin kick these guys. Dash at them. This guy's solo, so he's not a problem. Another spin kick special here. Alright, very cool. This section can be a little dangerous. It's another section where I tend to utilize throw quite a bit. Throw doesn't kill foot soldiers if it connects with... I mean, it kills the one that you're slamming, of course, but it doesn't necessarily kill the one... any of them that get hit. That was rude. Also rude. He had pure invincibility there. Alright, so with all that done, here we have Krang. Can be a very hard boss, but there is a quick kill I'm going to go for, so here goes. Alright, cool. Worked out. It's very similar to the Tatsu kill, like where you just go for dash specials over and over, but you had to do 6 basic hits at the start because that's health manipulation. If you don't do exactly that, then he has enough health to do things that aren't moving to the other side of the screen. Like he can just do it and gain invincibility, and it's not good for anybody. So for our big finale before Shredder, we have this elevator, because it's a Konami beat 'em up, so there has to be an elevator. Very slow moving elevator too, so Raph's going to get his cardio on. I tend to want to run towards the wall anyway, because I want to anticipate when enemies are going to spawn. That was just a bad input. Ooh. Past the foot soldier's gonna have some roadkill Rodneys here. We've got 2 that spawn on the right side at the very first. So we're gonna do this and hope it connects. Then 2 from the left. Alright, very good. That's just all sequencing. The movement when they get out of the elevator is random, but the idea is you want to get them before they can even get off the elevator. Another floor with some different enemies. Here we have some mousers. 6 cycles, pretty easy stuff. Make sure you get your slides in and you're fine. Yes, I am definitely using the HD Retrovision component cables, but as mentioned before, this is also a ROM hack called the Pyron ROM hack, which changes the color palette slightly. Supposed to make it look more arcade-ish. It's just something I wanted to try, but other than that, it's still just Hyperstone Heist. Nothing changes about the gameplay. That was a really good setup. So this is our last floor. I want to kill these foot soldiers as quickly as possible because they can only go 3 floors. Alright, cool. That'll take us there. Okay, so we're gonna go right here. Onto our Super Shredder fight. Here at the final fight, time's gonna be on the last hit. Super Shredder's not a super difficult boss. It's just all about iframes abuse and making sure you get slide. Because if you get a dash special instead of a slide, for example, then you're gonna have a bad time because you're gonna get hit by whatever he does. You can only get 5 hits per cycle, so you just gotta make the most of your damage. Interesting. I'm just gonna go for as many hits as I can. Can you get some dashes, Ref? What the heck happened there? That was weird, but okay. Alright, that's gonna be time. Sorry I didn't get to talk much of that, because like I said, I'm normally used to talking through my runs, but this game is very high octane, mile a minute. Always having to do stuff. Very little downtime in between stages because you're just pressing start to match cutscenes. But I hope you all enjoyed it regardless. For those that haven't seen this game and are used to games that look similar to it, if you have a Genesis, definitely recommend giving it a spin. It's a really fun game and a really different experience from games that are similar to it. And thank you so much, everybody, for the GGs. I also see Turbo Gilman in chat. He's the world record holder for this game. First ever sub 23:30, so looking at my time as 25:37, you're just kind of like, eh. Go check out his runs. But again, thank you so much, everybody. And be sure to stick around for JC's run of Battletoads. One of the best at that game, so you guys should have an awesome time. And thanks again so much for hanging out during Retrothon. Have a good one, everybody, and I'll see you a bit later for Double Dragon.